Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror, the card game. We're doing the Forgotten Age, and my goal is to not rage quit. I don't have to succeed. I just don't want to rage quit. I mean, worst case scenario is if I feel like things are just not working out at all, I may start over and just switch to Mandy with Rogue Splash and see how that plays out. But I want to try with what I have here. One other thing I guess to note about Mandy, which I didn't talk about in the last video, is I went without the Dream Diary this time around. So I don't have to worry about spending time trying to get that set up or spending the XP to get it up and running. Granted, it's still a very useful card. It's just feels like I have to go through hoops to get that thing up and running. So I'm just going to focus purely on the Grim Memoirs and stuff, which is the other thing I also been focusing more with Mandy, which is while her ability is really good with searches and stuff, I figured focusing more on card draw might be a little bit better. Just raw card draw. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and get started. Sunday, June 28th, 1925. It's been a hell of a day. We've just set up camp along the northern border of the rainforest where Alejandro believes the Etzli once dwelled. The jungle here is dense and untamed. The sky hides above the tree cover, but I can tell from the crisp breeze that storm clouds are brewing overhead. The dangers of our expedition have been explained to us many times. We are hundreds of miles away from any sign of civilization. Nobody in modern times has yet to pierce the heart of these wilds. Until now, nobody has had reason to try. After all, it wouldn't make sense to find Aztec ruins in this region of Mexico, and yet here we are, looking for ruins that may not exist in a place where, by all accounts, they should not. Already, one of the surveyors has fallen ill, and another has been bitten by a viper. I'm starting to think the rainforest doesn't want us here. If this luck persists, ours will be the shortest expedition in Miskatonic University's history. Tonight, we rest. Tomorrow, we venture into the uncharted wilds. So, the module itself already kind of set everything up for us, but a few things to note is the exploration deck. It's going to have 5 jungle locations, and then it's going to have 5 treacheries, and they are hard-coded. It's going to be Lost in the Wilds, Overgrowth, Snakebite, Low on Supplies, and Arrows from the Trees. Snakebite is the worst one. That is one that can definitely poison you. If you fail the check, you will get poisoned unless you have an ally, in which case it'll just kill off your ally. So we're kind of going to have to try to endure that. It's an agility test, and I think it's like difficulty 3. There's a lot of difficulty 3 tests in this, which is going to make things rough. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this and then shuffle this. And the counter deck is only 20 cards, which is really rough. It does have 2 or 3 Ancient Evils in it, whatever the normal amount is, which also makes it really bad. The agenda has 2 cards. Expedition into the Wilds is the first one. Your expedition has ventured far into the rainforest of southern Mexico in search of a forgotten Aztec city-state. What will you find when you head deeper into the Untamed jungle? Action, explore, draw the top card of the exploration deck. If it is a connecting location, you put it into play and move to it. So you do move with it, which is good. 6 doom to advance. Over here we have exploring the rainforest. There are 4 acts. I believe, it says there's 4 acts, but I believe there are actually 3. First one is exploring the rainforest. Today, you depart from your camp in order to find the ruins Alejandro seeks. That is, if they even exist. When the round ends, investigators at any non-campsite location may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. 6 clues to advance, and you can only do it at the end of the round. Now, the good news is doing it at the end of the round is actually probably the safest. We are going to be starting at the expedition camp, and there is no other information. There's this reference card if you ever need to. It is technically a spoiler, but it does tell you all the connections for the thing, so you know what to look for the exploration. And then over here we have Untamed Wilds. Skull is -X, where X is the number of vengeance points in the victory display, so that's going to be 0, and I plan on making it 0. On this playthrough, I do intend on going with 0 vengeance, because it makes things very interesting towards the end. Cultists, we don't. So currently we have no cultists and no tablets. But cultist is -X, where X is the number of locations in play, which is right now 1. And then tablet is -X, where X is the number of cards in the exploration deck, max 5. So right now that is a -5. And then the elder thing is -2, and if you are poisoned, this test will automatically fail instead. So already poison is letting you know it means business. Okay. With all that said and done, I will go ahead and put a break here. Okay, I've restarted a few times. I'm raging. I'm tilted. I shouldn't be, but I hate this campaign. I hate this scenario. It's terrible. I hate the explore mechanic. I hate the fact that my first five draws are always fails, or always encounter cards. The good news is, in all my rages, I haven't actually been poisoned yet, so... Alright, well, I'm probably going to get something bad. The past two haven't been too bad. This one's just -1 sanity. Okay, -1 sanity. So we have 7 sanity instead. That is fine. Could have been worse. The other thing is not necessarily like the game is screwing me over. It's also just me. It's been a while since I've played this campaign, and I'm just making weird, stupid mistakes and tactical errors that just make everything worse. And if I'm going to survive this, I kind of need to get my head straight. So this was my 3rd attempt. I'm hoping to be slightly better. Okay, so this one's not too bad. I am down to 5 sanity left, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and shuffle this. Enable this, turn this off. But just for those who are wondering what my previous cards were, the previous one was the one that's -1 agility on your first agility test, which was actually kind of dangerous, but I did manage to avoid a snake bite. And then the one before it was losing 3 slots of my choice, and obviously I have a lot of open slots that I don't actually use on Mandy. So it is what it is. All right, shuffle, shuffle, draw. As for starting hands, they've been kind of mixed. None of them I would say are outright bad. This is the second time I started with the Mr. Rook, so this one's not too bad either. I'm keeping this hand. I'm keeping the Ward of Protection. Segment of Onyx is definitely go to. Eureka is very good. Practice makes perfect. Yeah, I can live with this. All right, and then for you, deal to orange. Okay. Pete Sylvester, not this, not this, not this. Hold on to that. Oops, sorry. Okay. So, biggest danger with... Oh, I think I misread that card. I shouldn't have raged that. That's the other thing. I'm like so tilted that I can't even read cards right now. But that's okay. We're just going to go with what we got now. Let's see how it goes. Expedition Camp. The camp is abuzz with both excitement and dread. Some members of the expedition are setting up additional canvas tents for supplies, while others are huddled around an incomplete map of the northern edge of the rainforest. 1 shroud, 0 clues. Campsite jungle. Action resigned. The wilds are too dangerous. Action check your supplies. If you have the map, you can look at the top 3 of the exploration deck, place 1 on the bottom and 2 on the top in any order. This ability is really good, but it costs an action, and I can't afford that. And I also don't have the map to begin with. It also requires you to stay at the camp, so you're just kind of stuck there doing whatever. The expedition has staked its claim on the jungle, and the jungle doesn't seem all too happy about it. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this one more time, shuffle this one more time, and we're going to go. Okay. So with all that, I'm going to go ahead and start with Mandy. I will spin 3 to get out Mr. Rook. And then I'm going to go ahead and use his ability. And use her ability, and search top 9 and grab 2 cards. Okay, I could reveal this. I'm not going to, because I don't need to. As for the 2 cards, I'm going to grab... These are good. These are actually kind of good. Oh, Segment Onyx, definitely. And I'm thinking... that mag glass would actually be kind of good. I was like... Yeah, like literally there's a lot of things. Like getting a second ward would be nice, but I think I'm okay with this. So I'm going to grab the magnifying glass. I'll spend 1 to fast it out. Okay. Alright, next I will go ahead and explore. Not connected. That is connected. And then this gets reshuffled back in. Okay, so this moves us down. Path of Thorns, 3 Shroud, 2 clues. After you fail a skill test while investigating Path of Thorns, take 1 damage. After you explore while at Path of Thorns, if the exploration was not successful, take 1 damage. So yeah, this one's pretty rough to start in, but we don't really have many other options. For my last action, I am going to go ahead and investigate. I'll go 6 to 3. So last time I did investigate, it was an auto fail. This time it was not. Oh, I did it again. I don't need to grab clues from here. I'm an idiot. That's okay. We have this clue here for whatever reason. As for Rita, Sheriff's Keepsake, Pete Sylvester, Explore. Again, not connected. And I did shuffle, even though I got the same card again. This is connected. That's actually kind of scary because now there are 5 out of 8 cards or treasuries in there. 4 Shroud, 2 clues, River Canyon. Action, heal 1 damage from an investigator at River Canyon. Check your supplies. If you have Canteen, you can heal another 2. Limit once per game. The river is deeper than it appears. Ripples along its surface obscure the creatures that lie within. Water cascades into the rivers from above, causing a strong and steady current. Alright, that is everybody. We'll go ahead and go to Upkeep. Okay, Knowledge's Power. Keep. Grizzled. Alright, first Doom. Etzli Guardian, Humanoid, Etzli, 4 fight, 2 evade, 2 health. Spawns at any empty location, ancient if able, alert and aloof. When enemies attack during the enemy phase, if Etzli Guardian is ready and unengaged, it attacks each investigator in each location. The secret must be kept, does 1 damage. Yeah, so what's funny is if we had everyone on a location, you can actually prevent this thing from spawning. Like this one. So this one will not spawn because there's no empty locations. This one's occupied, and oh yeah, all 3 are occupied. Alright, that's a reasonably strong start. Just in case. Okay, it is shuffled. I just wanted to verify that. Okay. So how do we want to do this? I definitely need to explore this location. It is required. Problem is, it's going to be a failed explore if I do. So I think I'm going to wait and go with Rita. And I'm going to explore first. I was about to click a counter card. Alright, Overgrowth. Obstacle, attach to your location, limit 1 per location. You cannot explore at attached location. Action, you can do a Fist 4 to hack through the brush, or Intelligence 4 to find another route. If you succeed, you can discard it. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and move. Back to the camp, and then I'll explore again. Low on supplies, you must decide. Each investigator loses 2 resources. Each investigator takes 1 damage. Each investigator chooses to discard an asset he or she controls. We'll each take 1 damage. Okay. Alright. So managed to... It's now back to 3 and 3 now, so that's something. These guys aren't going to do anything. They're aloof. They're only bad if you ever get attacked. Upkeep. Oh, wait, sorry. I haven't taken your turns yet. Okay. What do we want to do? Let's go ahead and use our ability with Mr. Rook. Search top 9 and grab 2 cards. There's our weakness. So cancels it. And then I grab a counter card. Lost in the Wilds. Test Willpower 3. If you fail, take 1 horror for each point you fail by, and add Lost in Wilds to your threat area. You cannot move or explore. At the end of your turn, discard Lost in the Wilds. Okay. So I'm 3 to 3 right now. I'm just going to go 3 to 3. So that was our Explorer, by the way. I passed. Okay. I did fail an Explorer, though, so I do take a damage, which I'll put on you. I will go ahead and... I'm going to go ahead and explore again. Not connected. Okay, I now know that there's things that connect to the river canyon. I thought there wasn't. Which is unfortunate because I'm going to take a bunch of damage. Take 1 damage plus 1 additional damage for each ally asset you control. Each other investigator at an ancient location must also resolve that effect. You are caught in a volley of obsidian-tipped arrows that fired by unseen assailants. A dire warning to leave this place at once. I am going to go ahead and spend 1 to ward this and take a horror. I will still take a damage because of the failed explore. And then all this gets reshuffled back in. Alright, so... Lost in the Wilds. So the only thing that's still in there is Snakebite. And now that I don't know, I don't need to be... Oh, actually, I can't explore down here anyway, so... I will explore one more time. Snakebite. Of course. We are 3 to 3. We will go 4 to 3 and pray. We pass barely with Eureka. I'll search top 3. I'm grabbing this segment of Onyx. Okay, so the good news is we have all that. Bad news is everything else. So what is still in here? Oh, there's still one more bad card in here. Oh, that's right. Okay, I made a mistake. The Lost in the Wilds I got earlier was not from an Explorer. That was from my Mr. Rook. So I'll take back a damage. 1 second. Also, I used an action I didn't actually use. So yeah, I thought, I got when I did the Mr. Rook and drew my weakness and then drew the Lost in the Wilds, I took an extra damage and I was spent an action thinking I was going to explore. So I still have an action remaining, so I will explore. Good luck. That is not what I needed. Sorry. What's this thing? Oh, now I failed it. All right, 3 to 3. -0, so I pass. I do still fail, so I take a damage. Okay, well now balance is restored. There's nothing but locations left. So yeah, this is what I end up usually having to do, is I end up just doing all the explorations. Because it sucks. Alright, that is everybody. Upkeep. Upkeep. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and get our second Doom. We already know it's this thing. I take 2 damage. I can't do anything about it. And then Lost in the Wilds for you. I'll go 3 to 3, I guess. I take 3 horror. 1. Actually, 1, and then kill off the chair's keepsake. And then also this will stay and I can't move or explore. Cool. Cool game. Alright. Alright, investigation phase. I'm just going to start with Rita Young. I can't move at all, so I'm going to spend 1 to go ahead and get out Sparrow Mask. I will go ahead and engage the Etsley Guardian. And then I'm going to evade it 5 to 2. And then use my ability to kill it. and then Pete will heal at the end of her turn. All right, meanwhile with Mandy. I should have just moved to a different location and just took my lumps, but that's okay. Exploration. This one's connected. Two shroud, 4 clues. Each serpent enemy at Serpent's Haven gets +1 fight. After you investigate or explore while at Serpent Haven, if you are poisoned, take 1 damage. Okay. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and use Mr. Rook one more time. Use my ability with it. Search top 9 and grab 2 cards. I'll reveal the occult evidence to get a clue from this location, and then put it in my hand. I'm then going to go ahead and grab a Deny Existence. And I think I'll go ahead and grab this Enraptured. Okay, so that was my Explorer. I'm going to go ahead and investigate now. I'm going to commit an Enraptured, which will make it 6-2. I pass. I can put a secret back onto an asset I control. I'll put it on Mr. Rook. I also get a clue. And then I will I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and gain a resource and then spend all 3 to get out the 3 segments of Onyx. And get the Pin to the Queen out. Which, by the way, this thing can actually put charges back on the Pin of the Queen as well. I'll use Pin of the Queen to grab a clue. Alright. Upkeep. Oh, at the end of your turn you lose this. That's fine. Okay. Third dim. Snakebite. Okay. I do a test 3 test, agility 3 test. I'm going to go ahead during the skill test. Let me verify the order for that. Determine the skill. Okay, so there's a lightning bolt window there. I'm going to use that to do Mr. Rook. And use my ability, search top 9, grab 2 cards. I am going to grab this Grim Memoir. And this Knowledge is Power. Actually, I will grab the Mr. Rook. And then as another lightning bolt window. No, I'll wait. Alright, so I'm going to go 3-3 on this test. I fail, and I'll kill off Mr. Rook. And then for you, Creeping Poison. Surge, each investigator who is poisoned takes 1 damage. Black veins crawled underneath her skin, pulsating with every heartbeat. It would not be long now. Surges. Okay. Pit Viper. All right, well, that's going to be in the way. All right, investigation. I'm going to start with Mandy Thompson. I'm going to go ahead and do Burning the Midnight Oil. So I'll gain 2 resources. And I'll investigate 6 to 2. I succeed. I get 1 clue. Okay. Next, I will spend 3 to get out Mr. Rook. And then I'm going to spend 1 action to move. Well, there's a couple things I can do. Instead of moving, I'm going to use Pin of the Queen to teleport up to here and then explore. That's not the one. It's the other one. Okay. 2 Shroud, 2 clues. When you attempt to explore while at the rope bridge, test foot 2. If you fail, cancel exploration, take 2 damage, lose all your remaining actions, and end your turn. Place your investigator at the river canyon. If it is not a play, reveal it, and then shuffle the exploration deck. Okay, that is all my actions there. I could do some investigating, but I'm not going to. All right. Meanwhile, Rita. I will evade. I should be at 6 agility because of Pete. 6 to 3 on the evade. I succeed. I now have no limit on her ability. I'll use that ability to move after evading to here. I will then go ahead and explore. Hey, it's this location. There we go. All right. Circuitous Trail. 1 Shroud, 2 clues. Oh, actually, sorry. I need to do another test here. 6 to 2. I passed. Okay. 1 Shroud, 2 clues as an additional cost for you to investigate or explore while at Circuitous Trail. Check your supplies. If no investigator at your location has a compass, you must spend 3 resources. Haven't you been here before? I will go ahead and, with my last action, investigate. I am 2 to 1, and I have to spend 3 resources. So I will. Ooh, actually, that's going to put me just short of what I actually want. Never mind. We're not going to do that. Instead, I will go ahead and gain a resource. Actually, no, I'm willing to do it. I'll do it. I'll spend the 3. No, I can't. I can't do it. I mean, I'm thinking about it really hard. Let's gain the resource. As much as I would love to advance immediately, I'm thinking about it really, really hard. All right, let's do it. All right, 2 to 1. I actually passed, so I get 1 clue. Okay. Enemy phase, no enemies. Upkeep. The snake will get its act together. Okay. Okay. End of the round. I have 6 clues as a group, so I will spend 6 clues as a group. The natives. As you explore the dense jungle, you are suddenly confronted by several natives. At first glance, they appear to be warriors of an Aztec city-state, perhaps even the one you seek. But how could you have survived undiscovered for this long? Even with Alejandro's notes, you are barely able to translate what the warriors say, only that they call you intruder and implore you to leave the jungle at once. You try to explain that you are searching for Etzli, which causes them to murmur and debate among themselves. Finally, one of them speaks to you in rudimentary Spanish. Ishtaca will know what to do with you, intruder. He blows on a decorated clay ocarina, producing a shrill note that echoes throughout the jungle. The warriors depart as suddenly as they arrive. Put Ishtaka enemy into play at the lead investigator's location. Okay, Ishtaka. Keeper of Etzli, humanoid Etzli elite. 5 fist, 4 evade, 4 health, alert, retaliate, action, parlay, test book 4, convince Ishtaka you are not her enemy. If you succeed, place 1 clue from the token bank on you. If you fail and Ishtaka is ready, she attacks you. And we shuffle the encounter deck. This is what makes this particular scenario really nasty, is the encounter deck gets reshuffled a lot, and there are ancient evils in this deck, which is why I was so torn about whether or not I wanted to advance or not. But I figured it was better to go ahead and do it now rather than obviously getting the ancient evils and then triggering a bunch of shuffles anyway. All right, and now we get our 4th doom. Oh, also I need to read this. Huntress of the Etzli, I don't trust them, Alejandra says as soon as the natives are out of earshot. They mean to kill us, not aid us. If you think this Ishtaka is going to help us find the ruins, be my guest. But I refuse to follow where she leads. You can feel the discomfort and confusion in Alejandra's voice. You can attempt to speak with Ishtaka, or you can take Alejandra's advice and fight your way to the ruins you seek. If Ishtaka is defeated, you advance, or if there are 2 clues on Ishtaka, place her in the victory display and advance. So either fight her or talk to her. Ancient Evils. You want to bet the next one's also an Ancient Evils? Nope, Voice in the Jungle. Okay. Investigation phase. Okay, so this is the part where we might die. There is a safe way to do this, though. So unfortunately, oh yeah, Voice of the Jungle. Put Voice of the Jungle into your threat area at the end of your turn. If you did not successfully explode this turn, take 1 horror. Test Willpower 3. If you succeed, you can discard it. I'm okay with having it on for now because I do have Pete. And right now there's actually nothing we can explore. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and move back with Rita. I'm going to engage Ishtaka. And then I'm going to attempt to evade her. Or I can parlay with her. That would be silly. She's humanoid. I can try parlaying with her. And it would be funny. If I fail, I'm going to take a lot of damage. But if I succeed, think of the value. We can do Grizzled with Resourceful. Actually, we can just do Grizzled. Well, let's see. What the worst we can get? -3 is the worst we can get. So this will put me at 5 because it's extra 2 wilds because she is humanoid. So yeah, I can just go 5 to 4. And if I draw the -3, then I just lucky it. Autofill will hurt, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. I passed. Okay, 1 clue on her. Now, the bad news is that she's now ready, and she'll still shoot at Mandy if I fail. But I did save one. I did save a test there. I did in my turn. If you did not successfully explode this turn, take 1 horror, and then at the end of the turn, I can do Pete's thing. So I'm going to take a horror and then heal the horror because I have to do the force effect first anyway. I could Pendant and Queen. If I really wanted to dodge the bullet. Let's go ahead and do the parlay first, and we'll just see where that puts us. I do have a Deny Existence, so I'm currently 5 to 4. And I can go 7 to 4 with Perception. -2, I do pass. She gets her 2nd clue. I get to draw a card. And she gets put in the victory display. Okay. Not too bad. Ishtaka's response. If Ishtaka has 2 clues on her, interesting. You are not simply here to shed blood, Ishtaka says with a spark of wonder in her voice. And you are stunned to hear her speak in perfect English. Remember that Ishtaka is leading the way. Add 2 cultists, or add a cultist token to the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. Shuffle 3 of the 3 set-aside ruins locations into the exploration deck and advance to Act 3A, search for the ruins. Okay, so add a cultist. This cultist is going to be -5. That's the bad part about doing this. And then we get these ruin locations, which are going to be put in the exploration deck. Now, good news is we've already gotten all the bad cards out of it. So all we have to do is just explore and do our thing. And then this is the other one, right? Yeah, so we don't do the guarded ruins, we do the search for the ruins. Okay. Search for the ruins. If I cannot dissuade you, so be it. Follow me, and I will lead you to the place you seek. But heed my warning, disturb the ruins at your own risk. They have remained hidden for a reason. Alejandro warily keeps a safe distance from Ishtaka as she shows you the way. Each Etzli Guardian enemy cannot attack or be attacked. Ignore the effect of arrows from the tree's treacheries. Thank God. Only investigators at the ruins of Etzli can spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. 6 clues to advance. Okay. So with all that said and done, we got some work to do. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and use Pen to the Queen. Which is going to put all this get shuffled back in. And I'm going to use that to grab a clue from the Circuitous Trail and get that taken care of. Shuffle. All right, next. I'm going to move down to here, and then I'm going to explore. This is the Overgrown Ruins. There we go. That kind of works. And we move down here. Overgrown Ruins. After you enter Overgrown Ruins, if you are poisoned, lose all remaining actions and end your turn. 5 Shroud, 2 clues. A dense thicket of flora obscures the route to these ruins. It tendrils of vine grip the pyramid steps as though holding on for dear life. Okay. So, I can go 8 to 5 easily enough. I think that might be the plan. Alright, I'm going to do Knowledge's Power as a fast, and I'm going to reveal the Grim Memoir. And I can activate it and not at no cost. So I'm now 8 plus 2 on the Investigate. So that's 7, 8 for Magnifying Glass. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to do Practice Makes Perfect. I am going to go ahead and use my ability with it. So search top 9, and I can pick 2 practice cards. I will pick this Deduction and this Promise of Power. This will add a curse. And that puts me at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13. Alright, we pass. We get both clues here. This will go back into my hand. This will go to discarded. These go in my hand because of Practice Makes Perfect. Okay. Alright. So yeah, like I cursed myself for investigating the Path of Thorns because you can actually get all the clues you need from the victory locations. So if you know they exist, you can just focus your way down to them. And I might as well get this set up here just in case. Okay, that is it for Mandy. Oh, also I draw a card because of Grim Memoir. So let me shuffle this and then draw a card. Okay, cool. Oh, and I do still have Mr. Rook to play around with, but I'm not going to do it because I actually have too many cards in my hand right now. Okay. So with all that, that is end of round. Go to upkeep. Let's go ahead and discard one of the Grim Memoirs. Okay. Mythos, we advance. The Serpent's attack. After hours of exploration and futile attempts to map out the wilds, you're convinced something is watching your progress, stalking your every move. The shapes of large serpentine creatures slither in the brush all around you. You try to back away, but the creatures have you completely surrounded, hissing at you from all sides. Suddenly, several shapes emerge from the brush, human-sized creatures with the bodies of serpents and arms wielding spears and jagged knives. The creatures are savage, attacking you fiercely. Somehow you manage to flee to safety, though the sensation that you are being watched remains. Although you survive the encounter, you are confronted with a stark reality. This place is home to creatures beyond your understanding. So we shuffled the discard pile and Agents of Yig into this. So that's the danger. You can draw all 3 Ancient Evils, shuffle, draw them again, and then shuffle and draw them again. So some things you can do, you can try to line these up together a little bit better. But I think the way we had it set up for this went pretty well. We only drew 1 Ancient Evils. But we're not done yet. Each investigator has to test Willpower 3. Each investigator who fails performs the following. If you are poisoned, you take A damage and horror. If you are not poisoned, you get poisoned. So this is the moment of truth. If I get an auto fail, that's it. I get poisoned. So, Mandy's at 3. I can go... We're not in the same location. I think I have to do Promise of Power. I don't have a choice. There's also the -5 to deal with as well. Alright, Promise of Power. That puts me at 7 to 3. And I'll commit Occult Evidence. So that's 8 to 3. Second curse added. Here goes. Okay, she passed. Rita, you are also at 3. I will commit Pete Sylvester. I'll use a Sparrow Mask and a Perseverance. So that's 8 to 3. Good luck. Okay, both of them passed. I have auto-failed it. I have flipped the table for it. Okay, so the only things that are left that can still poison us is the snake bites that have been reshuffled in the deck, which all 3 of them are in the deck now because the one that was in the Explorer has been discarded already. I believe there are 2 more Pit Vipers, and that's it. And all we have to do is just get to the end without dying or other nonsense. Actually, dying is not even in the end of the world at this point. But I would like to get all the clues and get out of here. So, Intruders. What was once excitement has turned to dread. This place is far deadlier than you could have imagined. It is as though the jungle itself wants you out. Action Explorer. Draw the top card of the exploration deck. If it is a connecting location, put it into play and move to it. 9, doomed to advance. So finishing is pretty easy here. Really, the most dangerous part is just trying to grab all the victory because you're just extending your stay here. There are 3 Ancient Evils, so technically you could just assume that we only have 6 rounds. I haven't cycled through the deck yet, so I don't have to worry about weaknesses. I'm nearly dead physically, but I at least have Mr. Rook with us. So that is what we're looking at right now. Shuffle this, and we need to draw bat cards. Etsley Guardian. Any empty location, we'll put them over here. These guys will not shoot us anymore. Ancient Evils. So we're at 1 already. There is we did add those Yig enemies. One of them is Victory, but obviously we have no guarantee of drawing him. So we're just going to have to play it by ear, essentially. Okay. With all that said and done, let's go. I'm going to go with Rita next. Yeah, Rita. She's going to go down. And she's going to go ahead and explore. Did it not work? There it goes. Not connected. Or is it? Oh, okay. I forgot that this is not connected. Oopsies. All right. So yeah, this is not connected either. Okay. Good to know. So it's a fail explore because these are not actually connected. Yep. That's okay. So what we can do is just move our way up to here and call it good. All right. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and take Mandy to here. I'm going to go ahead and explore from here. Doesn't cost anything, right? Nope. Get the ruins of Etsley. So this is the place we need to go to and get all the clues off of it and all that good stuff. Or spend the clues, rather. After you fail a skill test, while investigating ruins of Etsley, draw the top card of the encounter deck. Serpent statues carved from limestone surround the central temple, glaring at you ominously from afar. You don't say. Okay. I will go ahead and investigate. I'm currently 6-3. I can go... Well, actually, sorry. I will go Burning the Midnight Oil. I am going to go ahead and use Mr. Rook's ability and search top 9 and pick 2 cards with Mandy's ability. I'm going to pick this Knowledge is Power. And this Segment of Onyx. Alright, I'm going to commit this deduction. So I'm currently 7-3. And we'll commit... Yeah, we'll just go 7-3. If I fail, I fail. That's definitely a way to fail. Alright, we draw on a counter card. Lost in the Wilds. I do a Willpower 3 test. I'm currently 3-3. Oh, I do still get the 2 resources, by the way. Alright, 3-3. I passed, somehow. Okay, I am going to go ahead and spend all 3 of my resources to get out the Segment of Onyxes, get the Pen of the Queen out, and I will go ahead and grab a clue. Okay, 6, 7, 8. Alright. I am going to go ahead and do a Knowledge is Power, reveal the Grim Memoir, and investigate. I'll be 8-3. We pass by plenty. I draw a card, and I get a clue. Okay. Technically, I took a horror and regained a horror with Voice in the Jungle and Pete Sylvester. That's fine. I did still take a horror, so I will go ahead and get an offering back. And then that's it. Upkeep. Okay. Overzealous. Yeah, I knew we were bound for that. This will also surge. Low on supplies. Each person has to choose something. All right. We'll have everyone lose 2 resources. So she'll lose 1 and lose 2 here. This gets discarded, and this goes away. Okay, so now I'll be taking 2 horror per round. So it's going to become a bit more dangerous. All right. But we can make that work. Mythos. Second Doom. Arrows from the Trees doesn't do anything anymore. Oh, it's here, actually. Ignore the effects from Arrows from the Trees. Let's see. Considered it, ignored. Over here, we got Brood of Yug. Humanoid monster Serpent. 2 fight, 2 evade, 3 health. Hunter. Brood of Yug gets +1 fight for each vengeance point in the victory display. A serpentine creature with scaled arms bearing primitive armor and weaponry. Hits for 1 and 1. Let's begin. Alright. I will start with Rita. I'm going to go ahead and try to evade. I'll go 6-2. I'll go ahead and use the Sparrow Mask to go 8-2. Success. I am going to go ahead and use my ability to move. And then move again. And then I'll explore. This will ensure that these don't kill me. Two Shroud. 2 clues. Temple of Fang gets +1 shroud for each vengeance point in the victory display, which there are none. Rising just over the tree canopy is a time-worn step pyramid of pale stone. A storm of hisses surrounds you from the trees. You don't say. Okay. So, Mandy. This guy's coming. And I need to do some investigating. So, the fastest thing, something to note is these final locations have 2 victory each. There's a lot of points here to play with. So the big thing here is I need to succeed on investigate. I'm going to use Mr. Rook and use my ability. Search the entire deck and pick 2 cards. I will pick deduction and perception. Yep, deduction and perception. And then shuffle. I'm then going to investigate, going deduction and perception. So 6, 7, 8, 9 to 3. Good luck. We pass by a lot. I get to draw a card. I get 2 clues from here. And then I will use Pendant and the Queen to grab this clue. Is it a little cheesy? Yes, but the game deserves it. We thankfully managed to avoid some of the other nasty ones. There's other snakes besides the Pit Viper that are not poisonous, but they have Hunter and they have Vengeance, and they just kind of chase you down. So thankfully, it's not as bad as it could be. So I have actions remaining. I'm just going to gain resources with my remaining actions. And that's it. Enemy phase, enemy is exhausted or otherwise not moving. And then upkeep, Mythos, Third Doom, Pit Viper. Actually, I'll be engaged with you. And Creeping Poison, Surges, Ancient Evils, no surprises there. So yeah, this went as good as it could have gone, I'll say that much. At this point, all we need to do now was the requirement. Only investigators at the ruins of Etsley spend the requisite number of clues. I have how many clues? I have 8 right now. So all I need to do at this point we have 1 here, 3, 7, 9. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. So all I have to do is Pin of the Queen a final time. Which will get me that clue from that location because I can get it from any location. And then advance. Discovery of a lifetime. What you have found is beyond your wildest expectations. Despite their supposed age, the ruins appear preserved in time. Several aspects of the architecture are strangely futuristic. You set out to investigate at once. Resolution 1. So before we continue, obviously this went pretty smooth. I think on my first playthrough, the first attempt, I honestly didn't need to rage quit. It's just like I was misreading stuff. And also I was being dumb and trying to grab all the clues from Path of Thorns and not realizing that you don't need any of the clues from the non-victory locations. Obviously, you wouldn't know that if you're going blind. And then I misread, was it Arrows from the Trees? I thought I was getting it mixed up with the a similar treachery card in Circle Undone, where it does damage specifically to your allies, which would have killed like Pete Sylvester. And even then, it was still not worth raging. It was just this game, I don't know. Something about this, not game, but this campaign has, even when I'm doing well, I end up just not enjoying it. I just don't know. But in any case, this went relatively smooth. Like I said, it's just really stressful. Not getting poison is really, really important because, as you saw, there's a lot of effects from the poison, like losing all your actions, or, you know, taking damage when you're exploring or investigating, or just flat out taking damage from random stuff from the that is otherwise unavoidable from the treacheries. So and that stuff carries over in Duma Etsley. Now, spoiler: Duma Etsley, the non-return to version, doesn't actually have anything that can poison you. So as long as you enter the Doom of Etsley with no poison on you, you're actually pretty safe. But there are a lot of effects in it that do nasty things to you, like changing cards to surges and all that good stuff. So far, the Damned, even on all my attempts, were not too bad as far as what cards we got. Granted, I was kind of stupid on one of them where I was like picking the slots. I think I picked Accessory, not thinking about the Pin of the Queen for some reason. But like I said, I kind of mulliganed. To be honest, this campaign is kind of well known, or this scenario is pretty well known for being restarted the most, simply because if you do bad on the first two scenarios, it really just kind of dictates the rest of the campaign. It's not really something you can recover very easily. Getting poisoned pretty much guarantees you'll do much worse on Doom Etsley. Being poisoned also ensures you're going to be having trauma and all sorts of nasty things. Anyway, in any case, I'll try to calm down a bit now that I've gotten past at least the Untamed Wilds. Doom Etsley is still pretty rough. Threads of Fate I really enjoy, and then Boundary Beyond I despise, but if we can pull it off and skip the first Heart of the Elders, I'll be happy. But we'll see how it goes. Resolution 1. None of these. Alright, Resolution 1. Thursday, July 2nd, 1925. Somehow, after much toil and many hours of exploration, we found the ruins that Alejandro sought, though we scarcely could have been ready for what we encountered in the wilds of the jungle. The rainforest was guarded by unfathomable horrors, serpentine creatures driven by anger and hate. They hunted us relentlessly, wielding primitive weaponry and communicating in sharp hisses. Perhaps just as deadly were the human natives of the rainforest. They appeared to be Aztec warriors as far as dress and speech were concerned. Despite the conquering of the Aztec people hundreds of years ago, these warriors somehow survived. How they managed to remain undiscovered this long is beyond us. The warrior named Ichtaka was particularly intriguing. We were able to defuse the encounter with her, the initial encounter with her, and surprisingly she helped guide us through the jungle, only to disappear mysteriously when we reached the ruins. I have a feeling we have not seen the last of her. Alejandro did not agree with our decision to trust Etsley warriors. He has decided to stay at camp until further notice. Disturbed as he is by their presence, I thought he would be excited to learn more about them, but I expect this discovery defies even his broad-minded theories. I suppose he has a right to be distrustful. Nothing about this expedition makes sense. We have cleared a route to what Alejandro believes is the main temple of the ruins. There is little time to rest. The serpent creatures seem intent on stopping us, so we cannot tarry any longer than necessary. Soon we will enter the ruins to see what secrets they hide. Alright, we have cleared a path to the Etsley ruins. Recording the campaign log that Alejandro chose to remain at the camp. Alejandro is a meanie head. Alright, record that you have earned Ichtaka's trust. For each vengeance points in the victory display, record 1 tally mark under Yig's fury in the campaign log. Beware the anger of the father of serpents, as his fury will haunt you in the future. So yeah, my goal is not necessarily to go 0 vengeance, but 0 Yig's fury, which is pretty much the same thing. If we can get to a certain scenario with 0 Yig's fury, it's going to have a heck of a payoff. But obviously, the lower it is, the better off we are. If you have it insanely high, bad things happen. But maybe someday I'll come back to this campaign and murder every snake I find out of spite. Each investigator earns experience equal to Victory X value of each card in the victory display. I believe it's 8? No, it's 9. Yeah, she's 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. 9 experience. The nice thing about this campaign is if you do well, you get quite the payoff. Granted, like if we had some bad luck with the Ancient Evils, like drawing a bunch of them and then shuffling the deck and drawing them again, you might not have time to get everything here. And missing out on 1 location is losing out on 2 XP. So it is what it is. I'm going to wait on the XP for real quick because we need to do the interlude. Restless Nights. Check your supplies. Each investigator with a blanket reads Restful Sleep. The rest read Tossing and Turning. So we do actually have Mandy with Restful Sleep. Mercifully, I was able to sleep through each night. However, while my body rested, my mind was plagued by nightmares. A cavern like a gaping maw bathed in dim red light, the walls slithering with the glimmering scales of 100 vipers. It might have been better off had I not slept at all. You suffer no ill effects. Tossing and Turning. This is for Rita. Those nights in the jungle, I barely slept. A strange fog rolled through the camp each night, plunging the area in an intense and peculiar cold. My bedroll offered some protection against the elements, but we hadn't been prepared for this unnatural weather. Flies and mosquitoes buzzed in my ears every time I began to drift off. Even when I finally slept, I would be startled awake by the crawling of an insect or lizard across my face. I wager I'll get very little sleep on this journey. You suffer one physical or mental trauma, your choice. So Rita will take a physical trauma. Lead investigator must choose one investigator to be the group's lookout. Then that investigator checks their supplies. If they have binoculars, they read shapes in the dark. Otherwise, read eyes in the dark. So if you really want to be a jerk and a troll, you can always pick someone that doesn't have the binoculars, in which case you just wasted a bunch of resources. So yeah, if you don't have the binoculars, you have to pick somebody to take a mental trauma. So like I mentioned, you can suffer a lot of trauma just from even when you're successful. Shapes in the trees. Most of the nights passed without incident, but on this night I was startled by the rustling of tree branches along the southern border of our camp's clearing. Despite the darkness, I was able to use my binoculars to see shapes moving in the trees. The shapes appear human, but why? Why do they only watch us from afar? What is their purpose? Gain 2 additional experience as you gain further insight into the motivations of the Etzli. So she's at 11 XP. Check your supplies. Each investigator with medicine may cross it off from their supplies to choose and remove a poison weakness from their investigator's deck. Thankfully, we are not poisoned. Anyone that has been poisoned, you will read this and get a physical trauma. All right, and with that, we'll be going to the Doom of Etzli. I missed something here. Sorry, check your supplies. The investigators as a group must cross off 1 provision per investigator from their supplies. For each provision they cannot cross off, choose an investigator to read low on rations. We do have 2 provisions, and we have 2 people, so we can just get rid of these, and we're good to go. If you fail, if you didn't have that, those investigators would start the next scenario with 3 less resources, which is a way to play. But I'll go ahead and just spend the provisions. I mean, Rita did so well. I mean, this is the first time I've played with Grizzled, and so far it's already done well. Like, being able to use it for a parlay check for Ishtaka was amazing. So, with that, I will go ahead and spend XP. So, BRB. Okie dokie. So one other thing I want to go ahead and talk about is we were actually pretty lucky. We didn't draw any of our curses, and we also didn't draw the cultist a single time. That cultist being -5 because we had so many locations in play is pretty rough. If you side with Alejandro, it goes a little bit better, simply because the tablets become 0. But then you're at the mercy of the Etzli Guardians and all that good stuff. There was one more victory we could have gotten, but unfortunately, we were not going to get it anytime soon, and there was a lot of venom heading our way. So it was a good idea we got out when we did. So, 11 experience on Mandy. What can we do with that? 6 experience for Ancestral Knowledge. So your deck must include 10 skills. Your deck size is increased by 5. Permanent Exceptional. We've seen this card before. If you've seen any of my other playthroughs with Mandy. But essentially, this will let me get 5 additional slots in my deck, which I actually want. So that's 6 experience. That leaves me with 5 experience remaining. So for the 5 new cards, I'm going to spend 4 experience to get 2 Occult Theories and 2 Survey the Areas. This is going to help give me a lot of coverage for dealing with all the treachery cards, as well as evading when I need to, and all that good stuff. There's going to be a lot of nasty cards that I definitely do not want to fail the test on. So anything I can do to help mitigate that, the better. Also, these are all practice, which is always good for practice makes perfect. And then for the last new card, I'm just going to add a shortcut as a placeholder for now. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 experience, leaving me with 1 experience remaining. The thing I'll probably be replacing shortcut with is probably sound support, and that'll ensure that I can stay pretty tanky for the rest of the campaign. So that was Temperance. We'll see how we do in the future with this damned card. All right. Yeah, I completely forgot that Mr. Rook had secrets. So Enrapture is actually the Enrapture card, even at level 1, is still very, very good. So yeah, 5 of these cards will be put in here underneath here, which will ensure. Yeah, the other thing that's really good is I'll have 5 skill cards that under this that I can kind of just call on when I need it. And despite the fact that we managed to get through this, I did almost nearly die with Mandy. I definitely took a lot of damage early on. Some of it was me being stupid and stubborn and not wanting to move back. My previous runs, even on the runs that went well, usually the clock is a lot tighter. And to be honest, there were still 2 more Ancient Evils in the deck to worry about. So I was like, I'm just going to take the damage and kind of push through and hope for the best. And thankfully, it kind of worked out. I mean, yes, I drew every single freaking treachery from the Explorer deck, but doing that did ensure that future Explorers were good to go. That's why I'm not too concerned about playing something as strong as Mandy with Pin of the Queen, because honestly, I need as much action compression as I can get, because with only 2 investigators, that Explorer deck is just going to keep screwing me. Anyway, with that, let's go ahead and talk about Rita. Rita has 9 experience. And boy, do I have things left to buy. So I'm going to drop 1 of my Pete Sylvesters in 1 Perseverance to get 2 out of Crossroads. We're already if you see me play any of the Survivor cards, out of Crossroads is amazing and gets me card draw, which she desperately needs. The remaining Pete Sylvester, I'm going to upgrade to level 2. So I am going to be trying to go only 1 Pete Sylvester in this deck, but I'm hoping with the 2 out of Crossroads, it won't be too bad. That being said, I do have other sources of soak now. I'm going to replace my other Perseverance with a Hunting Jacket. I think we've played with this before, with Daniela maybe. But yeah, this is a 2/2 soak body slot, and it can get you resources, and it can kind of quote-unquote store cards for you. And then we got Cheap Shot, which I'm going to replace with a Sweeping Kick, and then 1 of my Elaborate Distractions I'm going to replace with a Dirty Fighting. If we can get Dirty Fighting early, great. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. But this can definitely help with some action and compression and fighting in the future. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 9 experience. And with that, we are ready for the next scenario. Oh yeah, I start with 1 trauma now. So honestly, not too bad. Like I said, the biggest risk for the way we started was obviously not having a way to deal, having no medicine. But I was hoping with this particular setup where I had a lot of cards to help do the willpower test here and to pass the agility test, or at least have a way of soaking the negating the damage from like Vipers and stuff. I was hoping that would be enough to get through this. With that, I think I'll go ahead and call it here. I guess the other thing to talk about, like I said, Grizzle went really well. The Overzealous wasn't too bad. It could have been worse, but it wasn't too bad this time around. And honestly, yeah, like I said, it could get really, really nasty. Like if you hadn't befriended Ishtaka and you have the Etzli Guardians already out, and then you're running away from the snakes and one of them gets a bite on you, these guys will just shred you because they all just shoot at once. So yeah, so hopefully, I mean, the fact that it went so well is definitely a confidence booster. I'm hoping that maybe the next one will go well. Threads of Fate will be a nice breath of relief. And then after that, Boundary to Beyond is going to be the real test. If I can get through the Boundary Beyond, everything else I'm kind of confident with. Shatter Aeons is definitely going to be very tough, but if I get to Shatter Aeons, I'll consider the playthrough successful. But I hope I can actually beat it this time around, because I actually failed the one time I've gotten there. So with that, I am the Depressed Dealer. This was Arkham Horror the Card Game with Mandy Thompson and Rita Young in the Forgotten Age. And I will see you guys next time.